A new beginning, peeking through the clouds. It's what so many of us look forward to each day, that fresh start. And it couldn't be truer for Austin Marsh. To say she's had quite the year would be an understatement. It all changed 2 summers ago as she was rushed to the hospital.
Definitely was not expected.
Yeah.
Actually went into the ER for a gallbladder attack, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you don't need it out, but congrats." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're 7 weeks pregnant." And I was like, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "Yeah, you are." And I was like, "Oh great!" Immediately started crying.
Those tears becoming tears of excitement. She embraced it all. Even with the curveballs pregnancy threw at her, and some were not easy.
Had a few complications like gestational diabetes and having my gallbladder out at 20 weeks and
Oh my gosh.
iron infusions.
Just all these things.
All of them.
Yeah.
And iron infusions for about 3 weeks every single day. And then everything was fine.
It truly was. As she documented the journey of life with her baby-to-be. Months later, she celebrated her 21st birthday. Then, another life-changing moment. Another visit to the ER. She was having pains, but doctors told her things looked fine. By the next day, however, things were not. No movement. No heartbeat. Her baby passed just a few days before her due date. She delivered Blakely Lane after 26 hours in labor.
Quite an emotional role for everybody. I know Austin, I can't imagine, having to bury your baby, especially one that was just perfect.
The day I got my C-section scheduled, she passed.
It's still like, it's a loss. I know in the hospital, one thing she said, why does everybody else get to take home their baby and I don't? And that was so sad. It stuck with everybody there in the room.
Her Blakely with those itty-bitty feet, cowgirl boots, looking as if she's sleeping. Even wearing the same white gown her mom wore as a baby, the one she'd eventually be buried in. Yet, as tough as this moment was, Austin says she was not prepared for what was next.
My grandpa had to unpack my entire hospital bag and repack it, making sure there's absolutely no trace of welcome home. And
yeah, we had to go home and take all the things we had for the baby and put them in boxes because, nobody tells you that you're not coming home with a baby. Yeah,
my grandpa had to hide the pack-and-plays, the beddings for the crib, the stroller, the car seats, the everything. Bottles.
Here, protected by the trees, a place where the young mom continues to find peace, thanks to others, strangers, helping pay for the baby's funeral, and soon her headstone.
Everybody that's just came along, it's just been a blessing that they were there. And, we had no idea they were there until this happened. And all of a sudden, these people just showed up like little angels. We didn't know what we were going to do either, because we didn't expect this.
certainly something unexpected for so many other lives too. Also honored here in this circle. Toys and trinkets that would have gone to birthdays and celebrations now lay across the graves of these babies and toddlers. Tucked away in the far back, though, a tiny tractor for a tiny angel.
Back in 2018, my husband and we found out we were expecting our first baby. It was a boy, and we were just over the moon. My husband's a farmer, and it was just his dream to raise a little boy, to love the farm as much as he does. And so we were just ready and thrilled.
Yet the joy of the pregnancy pictures and plans were cut short. About halfway through her pregnancy, Nicole Lauer went into labor. Her son Cade lived for a little bit, but it was too soon for him to survive.
Right before he passed away, someone came in and they baptized him. And so this is the Bible that they gave us when he was baptized at the hospital. One of the coolest things I think that the hospital did for us, they did his prints before we left. And so these are his little handprints and his footprints.
The tough reality, most friends and family never got a chance to meet him. So she looked for a purpose.
I really found it important to figure out a way to keep his memory alive. And I wanted to do something to help other families going through this kind of loss.
She wasn't quite sure how to do it until one visit here. She realized most of the kids buried did not have much. No headstone or special marker. Nicole wanted to change that, so she started asking folks if they could help.
My goal, all I wanted was to help one family pay for a headstone for their baby. And we raised enough money in less than 24 hours to help 13 babies have their own special headstone. Some of them were siblings, but we helped pay for 13 babies to have a special place.
Hi! Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. It's helped so much. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful.
I don't know how, I get mixed emotions when I get the invoices that you sent me, because it's like, I'm glad that we can help, but then at the same time, like, I get really emotional at the same time because I don't want it to be used, but I'm glad that we can.
I know. And it helps so much. You should see the families. They're so happy. It's just like a big relief for them because they just lost their baby and they've got hospital bills and everything.
Yeah.
So,
It may not seem like a lot, but to go visit your baby at the cemetery and to see their name, on their headstone, and to have a special place just for them is huge, especially for families that have gone through something so horrific.
Now, every year, she collects money, and on Cade's birthday, she brings it to the cemetery to keep her son's memory alive.
Thank you for letting us do this. Well, it's good to see you again. Yep, we'll see you this time next year.
As the seasons go by, there is one constant, a perfect gesture for a boy resting with rows of children in front of him, as if he's looking over his friends, gone too soon.
They definitely helped a lot, and I'm really thankful for that because it takes a lot of the pressure and stress, and just it helps a lot with being overwhelmed. And they don't realize how much it actually does help moms and just families in general. That one, which is my absolute favorite. because I was like, oh my goodness, her feet are so perfect.
Yeah.
And her little fingers. No family really plans for this to happen. So no family really saves up for this to happen. And funerals aren't cheap, and burying a baby is not easy mentally, financially, or physically. And so that helps a lot. They not only help during the loss, but they also check on you months after.
Austin has also found her way to comfort other families shortly after delivering her girl last year.
And then I was like, well, I mean, I'm already making milk. Why not just give it to moms that can't?
And we had a lady that came by and
she picked up like 45 to 50 bags just within the first week or two of me doing it.
She's continued, spending hours of pumping breast milk and donating it to those who need it.
I don't want to say satisfying to do it, but it's satisfying knowing I'm helping another mom. I've always been an oversupplier with milk. It's like 12 ounces each pump, and that's like every 2 hours. So it's like, okay, cool, I'm not complaining at all.
A little something this young mom hopes her daughter would be proud to see. And the same for Nicole, too, thinking it'll inspire the blessings she and her husband have had since their loss. 2 sweet little girls, and the signs are like something from above.
We have 2 girls since KAKE passed away, and our almost 4-year-old was born the same hospital. We were there exactly 1 year later after we lost KAKE. Yes, it was extremely special. And then when we found out we were pregnant with our 1-year-old, it was on the same day that we found out we were pregnant with KAKE. And so it's amazing how it's worked out. But we have 2 beautiful girls.
While Big Brother is not here with them, he's definitely a guardian angel. Even as you leave the family's home, a sound, quiet at first, as if saying goodbye. And when you look close, a name to remind you of the beauty of the day. Cade David Lauer, bringing light to the dark.
You know, I really hope that takes a little bit of that pain away. I know it will never take it all away. You know, they lost a child, and I can't fix that, but I want to help in any way I can.